We're feeling very festive today because we are going to be talking about holiday horror movies that hopefully you have never seen. Now, we know about the classics, Black Christmas, all three renditions, although some are better than others in that category. Krampus, Better Watch Out, and now we have Terrifier 3 to add to that. We know about these already, so instead of doing like a huge video on a bunch of movies that you already know about and probably watch anyway, I wanted to recommend some movies that are lesser recommended, and I don't really see a lot of people talk about them. And some of these feel like only I have ever seen them, which not literally, of course, but I never see another single person mention a couple of these. So let's get cozy, grab a beverage, and we're going to talk about holiday horror and thriller movies. And speaking of cozy, I just want to thank today's sponsor, Bombas. Bombas sells a lot of basic pieces like socks, t-shirts, underwear, things like that, but they really focus on premium materials. Things like merino wool, extra long staple cotton, just things that are really going to be well made, that'll withstand the test of time, but also be extremely comfortable. And sock season is, of course, upon us, and I feel like socks are such a good gift, especially like premium quality socks, because it's not something that we usually would buy for ourselves, so I feel like it's a really nice gift to get, is really good quality socks. But also a nice treat yourself, which is what I did. I bought myself some things from Bombas with my own money because I wanted to treat myself to some extra comfort this season. And they have different things for every occasion, hiking, running, things like that. Now, of course, I did get some staple socks, a basic black set with arch support, and they don't have any toe seams, so it's extra comfortable. That's a given. But I did also get these merino cashmere blend socks, which are so cute. I had in mind like wearing them with ballet flats for Christmas or Thanksgiving or something, just really cute and comfy. But the star of the show, I have to tell you, have been these slippers. This was a treat myself situation, and I had to buy these. Honestly, their entire holiday drop was so tempting, and I really had to narrow down my cart because I just couldn't justify multiple pairs of slippers, so I just got the one. I have been wearing these nonstop. They're the most comfortable slippers I think I've ever put on my feet, not to exaggerate or anything. They do have a hard sole, so I can wear them outside, but these just live on my feet now, and they come in different colors. They're very cute, very comfy. Another really awesome thing about Bombas that I really appreciate is for every item that is purchased from them, they will donate an item to a homeless shelter. And they've donated over 150 million products so far. So one purchased equals one donated. I just think that's fantastic, especially because they carry the items that are most requested from homeless shelters. Things like socks, underwear, shirts, just really comfy basics. New customers get 20% off if you just go to bombas.com/possessedbyhorror or scan the QR code on the screen and use my code possessedbyhorror so you can get the most comfortable socks, slippers, anything your heart desires from them for this season. Also gifting. Get a little gift for either yourself or your loved ones because these are the best gifts to receive. Even my daughter wears Bombas. Like, she loves the Bombas socks. Okay, let's get into holiday horror movies that you have never seen. Not a guarantee, of course. You've probably seen a couple of these, and I will be doing some honorable mentions at the end. Just some movies that I have talked about in the past that if you've been a viewer for a long time, you know about them already, but I wanted to focus and really highlight the ones that maybe I didn't talk about as much on the channel. So first up, we have a movie called Silent Night. This came out in 2021, and this is one of those that I feel like the only person in the world who has seen. Nell and Simon have invited their closest friends to join their family for Christmas dinner at their idyllic home in the English countryside. As the group comes together, it feels like old times, but behind all the laughter and merriment, something's not quite right. The world outside is facing impending doom, and no amount of gifts, games, or Prosecco can make mankind's imminent destruction go away. This is a holiday apocalyptic movie, and I don't necessarily want to say it's a horror movie, like a straightforward horror movie, because it definitely is a little bit more on the horror comedy side, or like, you know, a dark comedy. It's a little bit on the lighter side, but you do have that impending suspense and dread that the apocalypse is going to happen. This is like one of those cozy, happy family Christmas movies, you know, like The Perfect Stone or The Holiday, you know, those kind of vibes, if it was also the apocalypse and like it was actually a thriller and they pretended like everything's okay and they tried to be that cozy, happy Christmas movie, but it's just not that. To me, entertaining, good time. I really enjoyed the characters and their dynamic. I thought they were really interesting people, and just like the family dynamic, family drama. There's a lot of focus on that with just the looming dread of the apocalypse happening in the background. So if that's not really your vibe, if you don't like the family drama focus or you want something a little more fast paced, this is not going to be for you. But if you want like a slower paced, like really interesting, weird thriller holiday apocalyptic movie, this is the one. This next one, I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, is the lowest rated on Rotten Tomatoes of this whole list, so keep that in mind. Is it the best movie? No. Is it entertaining? Absolutely, and that is ATM from 2012. On a late night visit to an ATM, 3 coworkers end up in a desperate fight for their lives when they become trapped by an unknown man. So this takes place after a Christmas party, so it does have that like Christmas in the background kind of feeling, and one decides to give them a ride and they have to stop at an ATM, and then they get trapped in there by this man. So this has very much that isolated, middle of nowhere, like trapped slasher vibe. Strangely, this got a video on demand release when it came out before a theater release. It went to theaters after video on demand. That doesn't make sense to me, but it was 2012. Who knows? I don't know. Also, fun fact, the killer in this wears the same outfit as the movie Urban Legend from 1998. So if you're a fan of that, this has a similar situation in that they're being hunted by this killer. This is a good like single location, easy watch, like throw it on in the background kind of vibes. It's not the best executed or best performances on this list by any means, but I think it's entertaining for what it is. Next up, we have a movie called Wind Chill from 2007. Just before their university campus goes quiet for the winter break, a young woman asks a classmate for a lift home. The 2 students set off on their trip and begin to get to know each other, but when a reckless motorist drives them off the road, they find themselves stranded in the snow on a remote highway. So this stars Emily Blunt. I feel like this is a very underrated movie. And again, a lot of these kind of holiday movies lean a little bit more on the thriller side, but I guarantee you will not, if you have not seen this movie yet, you will not see where this story goes. Like, you will not predict it. It just goes in a very strange direction. I wish I could tell you about it, but I really want you to discover it for yourself. This reminds me a lot, or at least the beginning, the first half of this movie reminds me so much of Survive the Night by Riley Sager. So if you're a fan of that book, which I am not, that's probably his worst book in my opinion. If you like that book or Riley Sager writing, I feel like you might like this movie because it's literally the same plot. It's the same storyline, same setup as the book, Survive the Night. So if you like one, you'll probably enjoy the other. Again, still suspenseful, but it does lean a little bit more thriller, adventure, action-y towards the end. It's a very strange direction. I was completely blindsided with this story, but it was very, very entertaining. Next is Centigrade. This came out in 2020. A man and his pregnant wife become trapped in their car when a storm buries them underneath layers of snow and ice. As supplies dwindle and temperatures plunge, the couple must battle the elements and hypothermia in a desperate fight for survival. So if you're looking more for like a survival horror movie, trapped in snow and ice and things like that in the cold, this is going to be your movie. I'm not sure if I could watch it again now, having a child, because, you know, she is pregnant and trapped, and that, to me, nothing could be worse. Nothing could be worse than this situation. Actually, probably could be worse, but this is just dire. It's a dire situation. It's not really Christmassy. It does take place in Norway, and it was filmed in Norway, so it's not necessarily like around Christmas time, you know, it's still snowy and icy and everything, so I thought it kind of fit the season. I'm actually really impressed with this movie that they filmed it in real cold conditions. Like, they didn't film this on a set. It was filmed practically with the car. Like, they had 2 cars that they had like cut out in different spots so they could film in it depending where the camera needed to be. So all of that was real. And then the actors actually lost 20 pounds over the filming process for this movie. Now, it's not a perfect movie by any means. Again, this is one of those. It's not the best story-wise. It's very kind of straightforward survival horror, but it has pretty solid tension. I'd say it's a good thriller. It's worth a watch anyway, and especially if you're looking for stuff that you haven't seen before that fits the season, then I would try Centigrade. And again, it's one that I don't think anyone else has ever seen. I have never seen anyone else mention it. Okay, now we're gonna get into my 3 honorable mentions. I have to bring them up in every holiday video because I just have to. Like, I can't just finish this video right there. I have to add these 3 in, but if you've been around for a while, you've heard me talk about them before, which is why I didn't necessarily want to expand on them too much. But here are my honorable mentions in case you are new here and haven't heard me talk about them before. First up, we have Dead End from 2003. When a family en route to a Christmas Eve gathering decides to take a shortcut down a wooded road, an eerie sequence of events signals trouble ahead. Strange movie. It leans a little bit disturbing for me. Again, if you know, you know. If you've been around, this is disturbing to me, and only probably to me. It's not going to be disturbing to everybody, but to me, it got me. It got me okay. It's a little bit weird, a little bit supernatural, but I really like the concept. And Lynn Shay's in it. I think she's great, but I can never look at her the same again, so thanks. Next up, we have Await Further Instructions. This one was pretty popular and talked about when it did come out in 2018. It was on Netflix, and it is like quintessential Christmas holiday kind of movie, but with a twist. On Christmas Day, a family wakes up to discover a mysterious black substance surrounding the house, and their TV screens broadcast a single message: stay indoors and await further instructions. If you want sci-fi holiday horror, this is it. Bizarre and weird. I love this movie. I think it was great. It was so entertaining to see like how things escalate and like gradually, you know, get a little bit worse. And I do wish they didn't end it the way they did and kind of, you know, left it up to imagination. But this movie's great if you haven't seen it yet for Christmas time. And it's definitely something different. Like if you want a weird, different kind of Christmas movie, yeah, Await Further Instructions would be a good one. And lastly, P2. I have talked about P2 so many times. It's an underrated movie for sure. It's from 2007, so it's in that era that I really enjoy, and just super underrated movie. A businesswoman is pursued by a psychopath after being locked in a parking garage on Christmas Eve. Has the Christmas ambiance a little bit, you know, the security guard, he's a bit of a creep, and just really great performances, and the tension in this is fantastic. Again, another kind of single location movie being trapped and hunted. So similar to ATM, but definitely a much better movie. But I always have to recommend it whenever I can, whenever it fits in a video. I'm going to talk about P2 because I just have to, you know, push it out there. Everyone needs to see it. I do have an entire list of holiday horror movies that are either taking place on Christmas or, you know, just snowy atmosphere and everything like that on my Letterboxd. I will link it down below. I know a lot of you always ask if I have a Letterboxd. I will link it. Just all the winter, snowy, Christmas themed horror movies that I have personally seen. I will have that list below if you want more. But I've done other videos as well on holiday horror movies. So hopefully at least one of these in this video you haven't yet seen, but let me know your favorite Christmas horror movie down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.